Minecraft is a game I've played with friends and made so many relationships, and for over a decade. I remember first downloading it, the free version on my iPad over when I was 7 years old, and it was so revolutionary, and I think that was amazing, but things have gotten stale. And I'm going to talk about why I think this is happening and what I think will help change it. One of the main reasons is honestly the lack of content. Now, I'm going to look at, let's just say, mod developers. There are many creating, usually single developers, creating mod packs or mods with 30 mobs, new dimensions. I mean, a literally insane amount of content. And if you look on the Minecraft website, there are hundreds of people working on Minecraft, and yet they had to delay the Caves and Cliffs update, which adds 2 biomes, a third one if you count the Deep Dark, which literally has one single block. And 2 mobs, 3 mobs, and we haven't even seen most of them. But mod developers can make hundreds of biomes, like in Biomes of Plenty and many other, and usually single developers. I don't know if it's the management or maybe it's just a job that looks really good and pays really well, and you really just don't have to do that much. I don't want to say that, but hundreds of developers working on a game that can only come out with one update every year and a half. That's outrageous. Most AAA studios can make a whole new game in about 2.5 years. A single update? Come on. Especially with the amount of features are higher. They're getting higher. But they're still not enough for it to take years to make a single update. Okay, I'm done talking shit about the Minecraft developers. I think they're great people. I just don't think the management is that good because of how little they accomplish in a year and a half of the talking about it at Minecon and just delaying it till December, which is almost a year and a half since we learned about it once we get to December and it releases. I think they could do many things to improve their process. First of all is some updates that really need to be worked on, and that is adding a bunch of new mobs just to freshen up Minecraft. It's so stale as there are basically the same mobs, and there have been similar mobs this whole time. And I think if they were to add variants, or at least maybe 10 new mobs in the next update, or like monsters, instead of only adding 1 per update, would be awesome. But I think that they don't want to do that. I don't know why, but I think a mob update would be great. Another thing is that would keep it being fresh. It's stale, but if they were to add a new dimension, I think that would be awesome. If they were to add, maybe it doesn't even matter, whatever they want. People were talking about Sky Islands. I think that's always a great idea, but there's so many other ideas I think they could come up with. I think updating the end is obviously probably the next focus, and I think that's great, but I don't think that's going to change how Minecraft just feels stale. It's the same mechanics. They need to change some stuff up, make a new dimension, change the way that you get to the end. How about if you have to go to the Nether and then you go to this dimension that they add, that then you have to get the keys and stuff to then be able to go to the end. Or maybe even it might be the opposite, where I don't feel the same thrill as I used to. And almost I barely ever felt that thrill. There was some times I was on my iPad. It was the first time playing Pocket Edition, or the first survival world, and I was on ice. And I built my house out of dirt. And I didn't know how to craft, so I thought the arrow was the best weapon in the game. And the spiders would climb up my wall, and it was terrifying. I died over and over. And then one day, I went to my friend's house, and he had diamond swords and stuff. And I was like, how did you get that? And he showed me a brand new mechanic, crafting, and it blew my mind. And from that point forward, I didn't die by spiders like that. I wasn't terrified, but that thrill was awesome. And I think if they were to add a new dimension where that thrill was there, where your diamond sword was a useless piece of shit, and you could have something and work your way up to having something that will kill these monsters, but at the start you are just, everything's useless. You're just your prey. I think that would be amazing. Going on a simpler note, just adding like 5 new mini bosses, adding some new dungeons for them to be in, would just add so much more depth to the world. Would add more. I would want to explore. I would want to find these mini bosses, and maybe even having to beat them to make special eyes to make the end work. So you have to beat all 6 of the bosses or something, and then it would make the end work. And craft it into like certain eyes that you have to place each one down individually. I think it would be a lot harder to get in the end, but I think it would be more engaging. I'd want to go find these monsters and kill them and maybe get their loot from their dungeon, but also it would succeed in making me want to go to the end, because why would I waste all that time killing these guys and put so much effort into it and then just not go and fight the Ender Dragon and feel like I did something. We have not seen a generated structure in the Caves and Cliffs update, and I don't know, and I don't really think that's going to change. But if they added just 5 or 6 new generated structures in the overworld, or maybe even some other places where they had new creatures or a new boss or something unique about them, like the nether dungeons and stuff when that first came out with the Wither skeleton. If they were to add a new dungeon with a new mob that only spawns there, and maybe drop something rare that you can craft into something really good, like the Wither skulls, which then can craft into the Wither, that would be awesome. Just adding a new way to maybe spawn in a new creature or emblem or piece of armor. I know that they have mechanically, they are able to do a lot with this game, especially when I look at like all the different underwater features that they added where it could like kill, drown and stuff. That was really cool. But if they were to add something like that, that would be awesome. Now, Mojang could always take the safe route. They could always go for that end update, but I don't think it would solve the staleness or the exploration update where they add new biomes. I don't need new biomes. I need new mechanics. I need new reasons to jump in this game and not feel like I'm playing the same like thing with just a couple new details, maybe a couple new textures. I want some new mechanics, something I'll have a blast in. Like TNT, when I discovered that was awesome. Like the golems, that was awesome. Iron golems, I used to have battles where it was zombies versus iron golems in creative. That was such a cool mechanic. They just need new ones. I've not seen that. Something that creative since Notch. Creepers. Golems. The Nether portal, for God's sakes. Nether. No new dimensions. I mean, they're playing it so safe it's not even fucking funny. And they're not just playing it too safe. They're not putting out enough stuff to keep me interested. Most people play for like a week and they're done because there's nothing to keep me excited, keep me going in this game, because there's no new mechanics for me to have fun with. And that's what I think they need to change, period. They need faster development cycles, more stuff, new mechanics, a new dimension, new mobs, new dungeons, maybe new bosses. And I think that would add the touch Minecraft needs to not be stale and to keep going, keep striving for a better game and with better features. Even taking like the Minecraft dungeon mobs and porting them in would be awesome. It would really, really be engaging. And I think the community itself would love it if they were to do that. This was a critique. And I hope maybe someone will see this. Maybe someone who has influence over it and make a change. Because someday, something like Hytale, which hasn't been talked about, obviously they're going dark, but I mean, Mojang's really needs to start putting out some good stuff. New mechanics, baby. That's all it is. Hope you liked this video. If you did, like and subscribe. I know the gameplay video wasn't that good, but I hope you liked it. Thank you. Bye, guys.